Perfect start. I thought I had the lock lit up. Give me one sec. There we go. As you guys can tell, it's very sensitive, so even a little nudge just makes it so fucking bright. So I had to just find that sweet spot. So I've already stumbled the beginning of this episode of the Locky Late Night. I was gonna do some like pre-prepared bullshit, like defining the word apex to you guys, and then pointing to the double entendre of the name of this podcast or this live stream, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But yeah, this weekend's going to be, or this past weekend is going to be very, very tough to top. The only way I think I could top it again is going to another one, and possibly having more name value on the card. But I'm going to 266 in September as well. I just don't like. I know that card is stacked. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think that experience is going to come anywhere near what I was able to go through this past weekend. Holy shit, man! First and foremost, shout out to Circa Sports. Shout out to my guy Nick Kalikas. He made it a fucking a weekend and a half. Really, that guy went out of his way a lot for me this weekend. Um, I'll quickly go through the trip for you guys, and then I'll see what the chat is saying. But I do want to give a quick shout out to my guy Nicholas West, $20 donation. Didn't even stick around for the stream, but still showing your boys some support. I appreciate that, my guy. Um, Yeah, so I'll just quickly go through it and then we can see what everybody's saying here. But yeah, Thursday I got in pretty much just in time to go make my. Well, actually, I was going to do propping you up, which I did with John as soon as I landed. Got through that as quickly as I could so that I could go down and make my. I wanted to make a PFL parlay, and it ended up losing. I think it was a four legger, and the only leg that missed was Goldsov. So I had that. So I watched the PFL fights actually at the MGM. And sorry, let me just make sure that's picking up the correct audio because I think I fucked up last time. Okay, it's on. Perfect. um, yeah, so I went over to MGM just across the street and watched the PFL fights at the bookie there with one of my Patreon members. Shout out to my guy Bear Mullings. He works out there on the strip as well. But yeah, he came through and we just sat and watched the fights and had a good time. Then I just went back to my room and then I just knocked the fuck out. Like by that time it was like 10:30 or 11 o'clock, and yeah, I just fucking knocked out because the night before I could not sleep. I was just so excited. I'm sure you guys can relate in terms of like going on a trip that you're very excited for and you just can't sleep the night before. That's exactly what happened to me. And that same day, I'm pretty sure actually, I went to go to the dispensary and grabbed. Uh, yes, I did actually before I met up with my boy at the MGM. So I went to that Planet 13 place. Huge, unnecessary, really. Like I really just wanted to go in and get my weed and get out. But made me wait a little bit longer. Shout out to my Uber driver though. He was more than willing to stick around and wait for me to come back after I grabbed my shit. And then I just paid him cash for the way back. Um, yeah, so when I got back, burned, went up to the room, had Shake Shack as well. And then I fucking passed the fuck out without even realizing I just passed out. Woke up the next day and met up with my guy. Oh no, sorry. The next day I had my COVID test. I wanted to go to the weigh-ins Friday morning. I wanted to go to the weigh-ins, but I just couldn't get in touch with anybody that was going to get me through. And then when the lady that I was trying to get in touch with that worked with the UFC, she's like, they're just super strict about COVID and shit right now, so they wouldn't have let you in anyway. So I just stuck around at the hotel. Then I went to go get my COVID test that I needed to get back to Canada. $130 PCR rapid test or some shit. So I went to go do that. Shout out to my guy Steven down there in Vegas. He's a friend of a Discord members of mine. He picked me up from the hotel, took me to the COVID test, and we went to In and Out after, and then he dropped me on the strip there, or sorry, at Circa, because I wanted to go to Circa and make my bets. Plus, I wanted to do my live stream from there, the Ultimate Wayne Show with Clint. And yeah, so me and I posted up at Circus Sportsbook, and the connection just sucked. I'm not sure if any of you were around when I was doing that or trying to do it. And I was just messaging in the comment section, but yeah, the Wi-Fi was super shit. I couldn't even get a connection or anything going. So luckily, Nick, again, like I said, I'm going to be thanking Kalikas a lot this weekend because that guy, like, he went above and beyond for me this weekend. So shout out to Nick. Always have my love and respect and support. Yeah, he hit up another sports book that actually uses Circa as their like sports book, but it was at a different hotel on there on Fremont Street. I think it's called the D hotel or something, hotel and bar. Either way, they had a nice little setup where there was like a giant marble table. Apparently, like the owner of that sports book uses it a lot to like mingle with like celebrities and shit. And they're supposed to come maybe an hour after I finish my stream. So a colleague has set it up that I could use it up until an hour before the guy was going to use it. It was cool having like the Circa thing behind me. I wanted to give him some respect and some shout out from that as well. And then yeah, we did it from there. I know the audio wasn't the greatest, so I'm gonna have to figure out how I can do it better. Like I wanna when I do streams from Vegas, I want it to have the Vegas effect, right? I just don't want it to be from my hotel room. Or maybe I'll get a better hotel room next time with a view of the strip or something like that. But I thought it would be cool from the sports book. So it was a little loud. Audio kind of sucked on my end. So I apologize for that. But I thought it would be a cool thing to do. Lesson learned. We'll definitely try to do something better when I go out for 266 at the end of September. So I did that. And then after that, I met up with Nick Kalikas. He actually doesn't work on Fridays, but he came there and just to meet up with me. And we just had a couple drinks and just shooting the shit. We were watching Bellator. By the time he came around, the main event was about to start. So we just chilled out, had a couple drinks, watched Congo fight, talked for a long time. The guy's I love picking his brain, and he seems very happy to do so or to be picked at. So that was cool. And then yeah, again went back to my hotel room. My guy Marcus, shout out to Nubian Bookstore, he gave me a hat as well. I should have wore that. Maybe I'll wear that during this week, but yeah, I was supposed to wait for him, but his flight got delayed. So he was pretty late. And while I was waiting for him, I ended up falling asleep. I felt bad. Next morning, I saw that he called me. I was like, fuck, we're going to go for grab a bite or something like that. But either way, next morning, Saturday morning, I met up with him. Uh, we chilled for a bit at the sports book. Then we went and did our own shit. Then we met up again when he went to place his bets at the New York sports book. And then yeah, we took the Uber, head over to the Apex. They said it was like 3:30 PST that we had to be there. Got in pretty easily. Had like finger food as kind of appetizers and stuff. They had some bomb lobster tacos and that beef brisket thingamajig. That wasn't as good as I thought it was. It was like Modelo flavored or some shit like that. That was kind of shit. The lobster tacos were fucking epic though. So chow down a bunch of those and then had a couple drinks. The whole thing was all inclusive. So like they got you on food, they got you on drinks the whole fucking night. Don't gotta say anything. Uh got a couple drinks, went to the spot, and I was just like awed and like legit in awe of sitting in the Apex, having that view. Like the moment I sat down, for some reason I felt like we were going to be a little bit further from the ring, but as soon as I sat down and looked at the cage, I was like, holy fuck. This is like nothing's gonna top this. There was 2 rows ahead of us, but like they're kind of bleachers, right? So they're going further and further down. The floor had like 4 or 5 like love seats. So two people were sitting there, but then it was like, full row in front of us and another row, the third row. But, like, I felt like that 3rd row was the best just because we're, like, level with the cage pretty much, right? Um, but yeah, I was like, yeah, I couldn't contain my excitement. It was fucking nuts. Yeah, then the fight started and I was just sick, man. Like great start, hearing Ramiz scream after he won was fucking crazy, and he just kept screaming. It was a trip. I didn't see what exactly happened to Platnikov because he was down for a while. Um, I'm assuming he went to sleep, right? I don't recall why it took so long for him to get back up. That's another thing, actually, in terms of even being there. There's a couple things that I found out on Twitter afterwards that I didn't realize during the fights, which was whatever happened to Blatnikov. No idea why he was on the ground for so long. Apparently, Luis Saldana broke his foot in the fight. Couldn't tell. Um, so I'm looking forward to like watching I'm gonna watch them back also just to see if I can hear myself as well because I felt like I was pretty loud. I watched like the Parker Porter walkout literally like minutes before I went live for the stream. I listened to Parker Porter walkout and then like the first couple minutes of the fight. And the only time I could really like hear myself was right after they introduced both fighters and right after they introduced the referee. You can hear me go, "Let's go, Parker!" But I felt like I was quite loud for that entire card or that fight specifically. So that was cool. But yeah, it's fucking fun, man. Like every time DC would walk into the cage to interview a fighter, everybody would just like he's walking in from like close to where the fans are. So like anytime he gets close to us, everybody would be like DC, and he'd like look at us and like, you know, put his hand up or smile or some shit. What else, man? Uh Anik and the commentary booth was actually on the far side, so you couldn't really see them. I could see Anik's head. Obviously, I knew DC was there. I actually didn't know who the last person was until later that night. Yeah, I didn't know it was Paul Felder. Even Dana like walked in for a couple fights and then he walked out. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but again, he was on the far side. He actually came through the fighter entrance, which was behind the fans, as you guys obviously saw. So when he was walking in, everybody's just like Dana, and he like waved at us and shit. And yeah, it was cool. Like there was like it didn't feel like there was that many people there, which was great. You know, I mean, I think I don't know the exact number, but it didn't feel like more than 40 or 50 people in terms of fans that were seated where we were, or at least in that section. I got to see my girl Heidi Dean. If you guys know Heidi, she does well, the main thing that you guys would really know her from is at the weigh-ins, she's usually the lady that's telling them to like pose for 5 seconds after they their weight is read. But she does a lot of other like shit. That's not the only thing she does. She's a good higher up there. I used to work with her when I was doing volunteering with the UFC back 10 years ago. So it's nice to see her, and she was happy to see me and stuff. So it's nice that we caught up. Um, I saw Cejudo when we were leaving. I saw Cejudo and Eric, Captain Eric, whatever his name is. They were in like the hallway leading to. So when you walk into the Apex, there's a security desk right in front of you. But if you look right, they have like those metal detector things like security shit. So it's a security checkpoint. Put a couple things in a box. Go to the thing, grab your stuff again, and then as you walk through, if you walk straight through, like they'll have a set of doors. When you go past those doors, that's where they have the weigh-ins. They had it cleared for us. They had it cleared where they had it set up as like a mix and mingle kind of thing with the appetizers and the finger foods, but like that's where they normally have all the tables and chairs set up for the media to watch the weigh-ins. But the weigh-in thing was there, but like between where the weigh-in thing and the security check-in is a long hallway, and along that hallway is all the jerseys of the Ultimate Fighters with all the signatures of all the competitors. I put it on my snap or my Instagram story, so if you guys saw that, that was pretty dope. What else? Um, yeah, so when I was leaving, Cejudo, his girl, Captain Eric, and there's another guy, they're just taking pictures along the wall with his season and jersey and all that shit. Um, and then my phone died, so I couldn't use Uber. Luckily, there was somebody at the security desk that had a charger, so I was charging on my phone, but it was one of those like, so I have the USB charger, right, or USB-C charger for Android. Um, And yeah, they just had it hooked into the computer, and it was one of those shitty chargers. And my phone took like 15 minutes for 1%. And while I was chilling there, fucking Phil Rowe comes and he's just standing by me. He was watching the fights too. I couldn't recognize him from afar, but then when he got up close and he was beside me at the security desk, I noticed it was him. So I'm just waiting there, trying to keep it cool, not trying to say anything or anything like that. And then a security guard came and cracked a joke or something, and we all laughed. And he looked over at me and stuff, and we talked a little bit. I was just asking him like, "Oh, you're from Philly, right? What are you doing out? Or you're from Florida? What are you doing out here?" He goes, "He's just training or something." I wanted to take a picture with him, but again, my phone was on like 1%, 2%. So even if I turned it on at that point, it probably would have died again. And I'm sure the security guard that lent me the charger would have been like, "Dude, you're trying to charge your phone. Why are you doing something that's going to kill it?" Um, but yeah, that experience alone was pretty fucking cool. Then me and Marcus were waiting at the security table for like another 20 minutes. As my Uber came, he took another 20 minutes, and John Morgan. So like I said, when you walk into the Apex, on the right side is the weigh-ins and like all the other Apex shit. But if you were to go left as soon as you get in, they have like a media room where they do the press conference stuff. So all the people are posting there for the press conference, and John Morgan came out, and my guy Marcus already knows him. Like he's been knowing him since um in like 2008 or something. So they just chatted it up a little bit. Then our Uber came. I went back to the hotel, charged my phone, and went straight off to Circa because I had all those Circa tickets that I wanted to cash. So I bet all 11 fights with the exception of the Jones Rockman or and Kakaramana fight, because the odds weren't up at Circa at the moment that I placed them on the Friday. Thankfully, I didn't bet it anyway because the one I either would have bet Jones or the under 2.5, both which didn't fucking cash. But I ended up going 5 and 6 on bets. So I think all in all, I lost like $50, 40 or $50 is what I lost. But yeah, it was fuck man, it was fun. So yeah, I cashed or sorry, before I cashed it, went back and cashed the tickets at Circa. I met up with Nick again. Kalikas is like, "Dude, like come back after the fights," because he works those nights, and he's like, "I'll show you around and stuff." So I met up with him, and he took me to the back office where they do like all the risk management shit. Probably one of the coolest things. Like I'm not going to talk too much about it, like just to keep the confidentiality and all that shit with Kalikas, but like it was so cool to see how they operate and what they do. Like it was just him and another guy because it was pretty late, so there wasn't much to do. But he's like, normally there's like 7 guys keeping eyes on all the fights or all the bets coming in and making sure that they're adjusting things accordingly. So it was cool seeing that back end of a sports book. It was very, very cool. Um yeah, just seeing all the tickets and shit coming in is fucking crazy. Uh so yeah, we chilled there for like an hour and a half in the back just talking shit. And then I went back to my hotel, burned outside, and went back into the hotel room, and then eventually passed out. By then it was like 4 or 5 a.m., which is exactly about like 24 hours ago. 24 hours ago, I just burned, came back to my hotel room. I teased the Lucky late night, but I was way too tired. Um, Speaking of like blazing, so I bought way too much weed. I have no idea what the fuck I was thinking, but I bought like 10.5 grams and a half, like a point 0.5 J that had bud and concentrate mixed. So in Canada here, like anytime I've bought weed, like the most I'll see is like 23, 24% THC. This fucking half joint that I bought was 54% THC. I was like, what the fuck is this? So I burned half. It was only a point 0.5 J, so I burned half at one point, and I burned half the other. Yeah, Friday night, I burned half of it, got way too baked, couldn't do fucking Lucky late night that night. Then the next morning, I awake and baked with the rest of it. But yeah, about 10.5 grams worth of fucking weed. So like I rolled up, I gave the majority of it to my boy that I know there because I'm gonna be coming back in September. So I'm just gonna, when I get back, I'll just pick it up again from him and then keep smoking it and then give it back to him and make him hold on to it again. But I kept enough to roll myself another J and a couple more like pinners. I call them pinners. They're very small ones, just like 3, 4 hits and just toss it out. And I thought I'd be able to get through that within 9 hours, 10 hours. but I didn't, obviously, because I got way too baked and I was already drunk and shit. And, you know, there's a lot already going on up here. So I'm like, there's no point in just overkilling this weed shit at this point. So I kept the red. There's like three pinners and a legit J still left. And I took it with me, hoping that my Uber driver would be like my Uber driver this morning who took me to the airport. I was hoping that they would be somebody that I could give it to as like a thank you and just, well, not waste this weed, right? But I ended up being this like old Mexican guy that he definitely didn't smoke weed, definitely not. Then even when at the airport, I was seeing if there's anybody like that just arrived that was just about to get into a car or something. Couldn't do that either. So in Las Vegas Airport, McCarran Airport, or whatever it's called, one of those first garbage bags or garbage bins has a joint holder filled with like 3 or 4 J's. It's probably long gone in the trash now, but I had to toss it out before I went through security, obviously. Um, yeah, fuck. Today was crazy though. So I left my hotel at 9:30 a.m. Flight took off at 12:15, so about 25 minutes late. It was a connection flight from Vegas to Denver. Denver, I had a 2-hour layover, and then that turned into a 2.5-hour layover because it just kept getting pushed back. Uh, yeah, then landed in Toronto local time like 11 o'clock, 10:45, 11 o'clock. Went to the customs, all that shit. Obviously easy to do because I'm Canadian, so they're not really suspecting me of any shit. But I did have to get another COVID test. They just randomly, putting stickers on people's passports and stuff. And I got chosen. So I went to go get a COVID test, and now they're gonna send me results within 24 or 48 hours, which is good because I was gonna get a COVID test even when I got back. Like, I just want to be sure that I'm good, right? Obviously, I live with people that are vulnerable to it, so I want to make sure that I don't fuck up the household. Um, but I got my COVID test on Friday, which is what I used to get back into the country on Sunday. Kind of counterintuitive, given the fact that the main thing that I went there for was the Saturday. So, like, but again, they were quite lenient about masks in the Apex. Like, if you were walking around, then yeah, make sure your mask was on. But if you were at your seat, you could have it down. So for the majority of it, I had it down. But again, I wasn't traversing much. I was very cognizant of what was happening, and being very careful about that shit. So yeah, we'll see if I feel great. I don't feel like I have a cough, fucking sore throat, nothing like that. But again, this thing might creep up on me in case I do have it, which I highly doubt I do. And yeah, just got in. My girl picked me up. My wife picked me up. When I got home, my dog lost it. Fucking, I'm assuming he missed me a lot. Um, and yeah, they just went to bed because they went to bed maybe 2 hours ago now. Wife has work in the morning, so appreciate her for picking me up. But yeah, man, this it feels so weird. Like the the experience, man, it fucking crazy. Like, I'm hoping that was a good way for me to like fill you in on what the experience was like. Again, I'll go through the chat here now and see what kind of questions you guys have. But it was worth every penny, every penny. And I kind of glossed over like a couple of the other perks. So one of the perks was you get to take pictures with the Octagon girls before the fights. Don't give a fuck. I just walked past that. Um, and then another one was post-fight Octagon picture. Don't give a fuck about that either. Uh, yeah, I think those are the only other two things. And then all-inclusive food and drink. And then that experience, yeah, definitely worth the money if you are a hardcore fan. Again, I feel like 266, as stacked of a card as that is, I think it's going to be difficult to top this experience. Because for the most part, the fight's delivered as well. Like, the Kelleher fight kind of brought it to a screeching halt. However, when your boy had Keller has the lock of the night play, you guys obviously know when you have a good, excuse me, a good chunk of money on a fight, you don't care how boring it is as long as your guy's winning. So it was very exhilarating for me, hoping that Kelleher didn't get caught in a triangle or an arm bar or some shit like that. I was just hoping it would have passed guard to let me rest a little bit easier, but he did good work. He was very cognizant of the submissions and was really doing some good work from on top. So shout out to Boom Kelleher. Um, and then the dog of the night play ended up hitting as well, the under 2.5 in Pantoja and Royval. As soon as I saw how like the first couple of minutes went of that fight, I'm like, this under's hitting. Whether it's Pantoja eventually gonna like tire out in the third round or something, or even later in that second round, or he catches Pantoja, or he catches Royval, and he did. So that was, yeah, hitting those types of bets right in front of your eyes is just another feeling. I really hope some of you guys get to experience that shit. It's so fucking dope. It's so fun. Yeah. Again, I was telling a couple of people, I'm very much considering to sell my UFC 266 ticket and just putting that money towards going back to the Apex for another event. We'll see. All right, let's see what the chat is saying. If you guys have any questions, shoot. Try to be a little bit specific in terms of which part you guys are asking about, because I obviously just went through pretty much everything in about 25 minutes. So I went about a lot. Last thing I'll say, uh, didn't really spot any celebrities, but there's like people walking around in Vegas, and I'm sure if you guys have been to Vegas, you guys know what I mean, where they look like there's people that look like they should be somebody that you know, right? Like they look like they should be they look like they're a celebrity. I passed a couple of those people, but again, nobody I would recognize, or they're probably not even famous. They're just probably showing out. Um, but yeah, out and about, I didn't really see anybody. A little funny story. I thought I saw Mark Montoya at my Denver layover. I'm like, he's from Denver. That looks pretty much like him. And I went up to him. I'm like, Mark Montoya. He's like, huh? I'm like, Mark Montoya. He goes, no, Zach. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, dude, you look exactly like somebody, like a coach that I know. And then he like takes off his mask and he shows me his face. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you're definitely not him. But like, he so looked like him, and I hate doing that because of situations like that. But I felt like I needed to say something. And then actually, one of the people that was sitting beside me at the VIP thing, they were from Denver, and they said that Royval and Pichelle were on their flight. Like they gave Royval like a middle seat or some shit. So there's that. Again, yeah, like Phil Rowe, Cejudo, Moreno. Oh, I did see so when I was leaving, I realized that my phone was dead. So I went back into the Apex area where people were still messing around and lingering and stuff. And I was looking for a charger, and then past me walks Laura Sanko and Paul Felder. And for some reason, I couldn't muster up the words to say anything to them. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't call it starstruck. I definitely wasn't starstruck, but I was just like, what do I say? Like, I was just trying to be quick on my feet, but then I didn't say anything because I didn't want to sound like a dumbass. Uh, Somebody even messaged me on Twitter. I think they said, if you see Paul Felder, tell him he's a handsome bastard. And I was so close to saying that, but I don't know. The words just didn't come out of my mouth. Um, yeah. Uh, I kind of met that. Like if you guys usually watch you guys watch the behind the scenes stuff for the UFC a lot, like the embedded or whatever, or even the wins. There's that tall UFC security guard, and I think he's British or something. He's some sort of European. I didn't realize that because I thought he was just like this old white dude. Not old, but like I just thought he was this white dude from Texas. But then he started talking, like he played a joke on the guy that I went with, and I'm like, oh shit, this guy's European. The fuck? He kind of looks like Jeff Nowitzki, but he's actually like the UFC security guy, bald guy, tall, looks European, kind of. Uh, but yeah, some of you guys might know who I'm talking about. Um, yeah, that was it, man. Like I'm trying to think of other details that I probably missed out on. Let me just quickly go through my but I'll get to the questions very shortly, fellas. Give me one sec. Um Let's go into my Instagram. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, yeah. If you just go to my IG MMA LOTN, there's like a question mark um story highlight thing that I posted there. I still got to consolidate all correctly under that UFC Vegas 34 highlight, but I haven't gotten around to it. But yeah, it pretty much goes to my entire trip. I tried documenting as much as I could without getting too overbearing with my phone, and I felt I did a decent job of that. And again, this is coming from somebody who hates taking pictures of videos of anything. So there's a lot of time you see me walking around that like part of New York, across the street from MGM. That was usually my burn spot. I would go there, I would just walk in circles and blaze. Then there's the MGM Sportsbook, uh, New York, late at night, once again, with me burning. Shake Shack, Circa Sportsbook. This would be the Friday. Yep, more Circa Sportsbook. And then that picture of me and Nick, where I look baked as fuck. Then I get back to New York, and blaze my face off again. Yeah, that giant New York sign by the front entrance trips me the fuck out, especially with how baked I was at that point. So bright, shiny, and flashy. Goddamn. Yeah. Then they showed off the appetizers. Then I put something up and said they posted us up for the appetizers where they normally do the weigh-ins. The irony. uh, POV of the night, point of view of the night. Took a picture of my name that they had on the seat, and then some late night Fremont. That was about it. But yeah, it was dope. All right, let's see what the chat is saying. MMA Triple J in the chat. Appreciate you stopping by, brother. Let's go, Lock. Dab Father in the house. MD saying, please tell me that Askarov is getting the next touchdown, not Pantoja. Yeah, it should be Askarov. I looked over to Marcus, who was sitting beside him, telling him the same thing after Pantoja called him out. So, but Pantoja has a case himself. He has 2 wins over him. Dad Father saying, what's up, good trip, homie? Yeah, I'm hoping that you heard all of what I just said because it was a great trip. Hype MMA, Trevin fight was crazy. So many crazy finishes. Yeah, that was a crazy fight too. The Roosevelt Roberts one, though, man, hearing that heel land or that foot, that heel, goddamn. You know what was loudest? There's one body kick that Austin Hubbard landed on Pichel that still rings in my ears. That was probably the hardest shot that I heard all night. Obviously, William Knight landing anything was hard as fuck. Um, yeah, it's crazy hearing the punches and the kicks, and Safe Sayud was just so fucking loud as well when he was cornering Austin Lingo, and I cornered one more guy. I just don't recall. Oh yeah, Ramiz Brahimai. We saw Curtis Blades. He was in Austin Hubbard's corner. That was hilarious. Yeah, it was great. MD Aljo knows that he's going to get murdered if he steps on the octagon with Carter Piotr, no mercy. Yeah, Piotr probably wins that fight. Hash Slinger Slasher saying 130 bricks. Yeah, it was 130 bucks for the test I took down in the States to get back into Canada. But for me to get into the States, I only had to take a $40 one up here in Canada. Ethan Cruz in the chat. I did have a great trip, brother. My guy Payne Fight Picks is here. Hope you enjoyed the experience. How many people did they have at the venue? Just counting fans, 200 people more or less. Just fans was 50 people, I believe. The other side of the cage was like friends and family of the fighters. So at the front, they also had like, they had a box of envelopes and it had like fighters' names on them. So I'm sure they had like 2 tickets they're giving away to fighters, friends, and family and shit. So Hudo was sitting on the other side. Phil Rowe was sitting on the other side. And yeah, just a bunch of friends and family. But again, on the fan side, 50 people. Stefano Lock next week, September starts closer and closer to see you with your Elvo suit. Oh, you want me to do that in December again, eh? Frank S., appreciate you stopping by, my brother. Zach A saying, yeah, that audio is heinous. I apologize, guys. Again, I tried. Zach A saying Cletus is a boss. That's awesome. Yeah, again, I will forever thank that guy. Hype MMA saying, by any chance, did you see any special guests or fighters like that at the Apex watching? Yeah, I just went over them. Just again, Cejudo, Captain Eric, Phil Rowe. Those were like the only notable names that I saw on the other side. Harmon Sarai, appreciate you stopping by. Matt Attack, Lax G saying, "What did you eat there, brother?" They had a bunch of shit, but again, the only two things I really honed in on was the lobster tacos and that beef braised whatever the fuck, but it sucked. Lobster tacos were the bomb though. William Hagmeister saying 266 going to be special. Hopefully, hoping to finally meet Valentina. If you're lucky enough, you might. Pain fight predictions. Did you see any of the commentators? Andy Felder, the Mexican commentators. I saw Moreno. He was. They had him posted up close to where like the entrance was for the fans to get into the Apex. That's where they had like the Spanish announce table, I guess it was. Uh, and you guys obviously saw Moreno when Pantoja was talking to him, right? Um, yeah, Anik, I could see from the other side, like he was sitting on opposite of the fans. Um, Felder, I couldn't really see, but obviously I knew DC was there because he kept coming into the cage. MD betting the house on Mo's drive Loev every time he fights until he wins a championship. Not a bad strategy, I'd say. I might do the same. Scotty Schmidt, how was Vegas as a whole, bro? How were the vibes? Did it feel like mid-pandemic still or no? Like people were wearing masks pretty much everywhere. Like it's mandatory almost that you have to wear masks anywhere inside Vegas now. So, but there are people that didn't really give a fuck about it. People that were just like covering up to their lips, not even doing the nose, like completely making the masks useless. Yeah, certain times it felt like pandemic. Like I got there on the Thursday, and Thursday there wasn't many people out there. Like it wasn't as busy as I expected it to be. But then Friday clearly saw a change. But also the reason was because same weekend, Pacquiao fight at T-Mobile and SummerSlam at Allegiant Stadium. So it was pretty busy on the Friday, Saturday. Like the Friday when I was at Circa with Nick, I noticed so many people with just like WWE merch and you're like stereotypical WWE fan, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. I won't go any further in terms of explaining it. uh, and then Saturday, obviously, super busy, right? So, again, to answer your question, Scotty, it was a little bit of both. Again, when I was at the Apex, it didn't feel like it. I had my neck around my neck, my mask around my neck. I felt it, but it's like I didn't give a fuck. Um, but yeah, Hype MMA saying, I think I heard that. I think you're talking about when I was cheering for Parker Porter. Jared saying, I thought I heard you yelling during the Parker fight in between rounds. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure I was. I'll definitely have to listen back to that. Samney, appreciate you stopping by. Throud, can I ask how much the Apex sticks were? $2,000. That's 2,000 US. So a little bit more expensive in this Canadian currency, but totally fucking worth it if you can afford it. Hype MMA, yes, it was 2K. Mikey Sports saying Apex sticks are 2K rip. Yeah. Not a rip off at all, if that's what you mean by rip, but yeah, totally worth it. Mikey Sports saying, what's your favorite podcasts? Mainly comedy podcasts. Like I don't really listen to any MMA ones. Anik and Florian, that's really about it. And then the rest of them are just comedy podcasts. JD, good shit. Yes. Stefano, did he say weed? Yes, I said weed. Jazz cabbage, yes. The devil's lettuce. Okay, saying what color shirt were you wearing? I swear I saw you. I was wearing a white shirt. You could pretty much see me anytime they were showing the red corner, but sometimes I would be behind the fighter or behind one of the commentators. If you guys actually watch the Parker Porter introduction, you could see me in the back, but then even like when like everybody gets out of the cage and then they show like fighter A and fighter B and then they start the fight. When they're showing Parker Porter, you can see me in the background going like this with my hands, just telling the crowd, let's go, let's fucking go. Uh, yeah. I was wearing a white shirt. It would be hard to miss me there. Zach, who'd you fly with? Air Canada to get in, and then United from Vegas to Denver, and then again Air Canada from Denver to Toronto. Um, Acai Fuel Mountaineer saying Vegas is addicting man, wild city. Yeah, I also had a very shitty view where I was staying at the New York. Couldn't see the strip at all. I was just like a building in front of me. But like it almost like I would almost forget I'm in Vegas until I heard like music out. Like you can always hear music at some point or just super loud cars. Um Again, I'm past the clubbing phase and going out and getting too fucked up. Just I'm not that I don't do that shit. Like I'll have a drink socially. Like if I'm with people, I'll drink. Um, but I'd rather just go out, do whatever I'm doing, come back, smoke a J, and just chill the fuck out. But yes, I did enjoy it. Like it felt like there were times where I got back into the hotel and I knew I danked of weed, and I'm like, wait, I'm in Vegas, of course. Like, why would I have to be again, I don't at times I just get paranoid for some reason, even though it's legal up here in Canada as well. But there are times where I'm in public where I'm like, the I probably smell so much right now, and people are probably like, that guy smells so much like weed. Uh, and then I would quickly remind myself, I'm like, I'm in Vegas. Everybody's fucked up. Who gives a shit? Uh, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. It really feels like a different world. I love it. Okay, saying Nunes saved the day for me, boys. Yeah, that was a crazy knockout. Great shot by Nunes. Esteban Chin, how to get tickets to the Apex? Go to UFCVIP.com and then call them. There's a number somewhere on that website. Just call them. Pain Fight Predictions is saying DFS is going to 266. Yeah, I believe me and him are going to link up at some point. Jam One Gong saying next card is garbage. Yeah, there's so I noticed like when I was just scrolling through Twitter every now and then throughout the week that while I was in Vegas, that there were so many cancellations and short notice replacements and all that shit. So yeah, I gotta like update the tape index, update the lock the night challenge, dog the night challenge, and do all the study up on this weekend's card. But yeah, I remember even looking at best fight odds, like the matchups are all over the place, and they have some matchups that have already been canceled. So hopefully everything sorts itself out by tomorrow. Uh, Garrett, Jared saying, I feel like that anytime I try to talk to another human. Uncle Weezy, Locky late night. You know what it is. Appreciate you stopping by. Urban Man, New Jersey saying, definitely saw you on TV with the turban. Hell yeah. repping. Zach A saying, who needs Octagon ground girls? Sign me up for a pick with Sanko or grass all day, son. Yeah, exactly. Give me that opportunity. Scotty Schmidt, how was the heat out there? Was it like overly warm outside or bearable? It was bearable, but it was hot as fuck. Like you could, you were very thankful to be inside a taxi or inside an Uber when you got inside an Uber. I didn't spend too much time outside again. Like when I wasn't in my hotel room, I was in the casinos somewhere. Very rarely was I actually outside, like just to smoke a J. That was really about it. I tried minimizing how much I was outside. Daniel Moreno, maybe I shouldn't stress gamble when I'm already broke. Definitely don't do that. Definitely don't stress gamble. Amanda Love saying I'll be going to UFC 266 as well. Yeah, it's International Fight Week, so it should be a big, big weekend. Hype MMA, did being in person so close make you feel a certain way when a fighter gets KO'd? Um, no, not really. It was more so like there was maybe only a couple times where like so when they get out of the cage, they go around the far side from where the fans are, and then they go out a sideway where they don't really get too close to the fans. But there was one or two fighters, I can't remember off the top of my head, who lost, and their cornerman walked the fan side to the exit. And just seeing them after they had gotten lost or whatever the fight again, I don't recall who it was, but um just seeing their reaction, that's a trip. Like it's almost humanizing to the sense like where you realize that they have to start accepting the fact that they're only getting half their pay now, that they just took a loss on their record. Like they don't show that on the camera, right? They just show the official prediction or the official decision. interview the winner, and then the other guy just walks out. Like it's a tough scene. And again, when it's like there's not that many people there either, like it's weird. Again, very cool experience though. Very cool experience. Zach A, how was the heat? Again, not too bad. It was hot, but apparently it was a lot hotter like the week before, according to a lot of the Uber drivers. So Urban Man of New Jersey, do you think Calvin was knocked out for a second on some Yuri shit or just stunned? I think he was stunned. I definitely think he was stunned. Harley Marley saying what an event to attend. Yeah, again, name value wasn't there, but I knew those fights were going to fucking deliver. And that's exactly what they did. Okay, saying how do you like Sabatini on Saturday? I just got it. Haven't looked at next week's card at all. Again, I just know there's a bunch of changes. Haven't looked at it. We'll be doing so tomorrow. Excuse me. Ben Peek in the chat thinking I'm still blocked from my other account, but I'm still here. Oh, okay. After this stream, Ben, if you're still here, shoot a message into the Discord and remind me to do it, and I will unblock your other account. Zake, I guess that's why they call him Thud Hubbard. Yes, sir. Emers is going to win. Pain fight picks, predictions. What was it like seeing the knockouts, watching on TV? Obviously, the camera doesn't zoom in on the unconscious fighter. What was it like in person? You may not understand my question. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was surreal. It was a little weird, but like I just explained, it was more so seeing them walk out of the cage when they're not under the lights and not on the platform. That's a lot more humanizing. How do you have Blades in your corner? Takes him 10 minutes to say 3 words. Harley Morley 420. Was there any way to live bet with a slight edge there? I didn't have any bookies that I use that were available to me down there. But I didn't have the intention to do so. I just wanted to enjoy the experience, right? And like the only times I was on my phone was to like, do my Instagram story every like at the beginning of most fights. I wanted to stay off my phone as much as possible. Paying for our predictions. Did Eric have those big glasses on? Yes, he did. Chris Hartman, you're gonna kill me with this t-shirt thing. And it's gonna become this long-standing inside joke that I will refuse to explain to anybody if they don't know why you're saying that. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you stopping by. What did Ignacio say in his post-fight interview that was so bad? He just said fuck. He said something about fuck. Is Guida done? I don't know, man. That was a competitive fight, right? Like that was a split decision. He can still compete. Again, it depends on the matchup for him, but I'm sure he's going to be fighting. Sake wearing a mask with your nose. I was like, putting Kakano on your boss. Like, yeah, exactly. John Gotti, Dweeb City. Love the Guida pick. Yes. Saw you a bunch in between the past few fights standing. Yes, sir. I was so jacked up. Maybe I'll see some of you guys at 266. Maybe you will. Ankar Hundal, Jay, you here? Harley Marley going to be buzzed for 72 hours straight. I only drink socially now. Yeah. Again, like I was meeting up with people enough that I was drinking. But we'll see. It was fun. It was a good time. I enjoyed it. Zake, no blackjack. Yeah, no. Again, I think the only casino game I've ever played is blackjack, and I don't really even care to do that. I might do it next time, but who knows? Scotty Schmidt, I live in Wisco, no sports. No sports betting. I do a lot of DFS. Do you play any DraftKings or anything? I've kind of laid off the DFS ever since I stopped doing that show for Sal. I've been doing prize picks, which is pretty dope. But I eventually got to get back to it. Z in the chat. He is a night owl like myself. Bro, you were live for the KO of the year, and that was in the Apex. That must have been insane. Yeah, that was crazy. That was insane. Yeah. For me, it was more so I was stunned that Roberts was not having as much success as I thought he was gonna have. And like as the fight was winding down, I was like, fuck, like I can't believe it. Like I had $50 on him as my degenerate play. I didn't pull the official trigger on him or anything like that, but I was quite confident on him going into that fight. Like I told a lot of people, it was this toss-up for me between Brian Kelleher and Roosevelt Roberts as my lock of the night pick. And luckily I went with Kelleher, but I was stunned, and then, Ignacio was throwing that spinning back kick a lot. Um, I didn't yeah, it was crazy to me that he actually landed it. So where I was sitting, there's a like, we were pretty dead on with one side of the cage, but there was a cameraman standing at one of the posts on the left side, and you could see Ignacio, but you couldn't really see Roberts. So I didn't actually see in real time the kick land. I saw him throw the kick. I didn't see it connect on Roberts's face because of the angle that I was at. It was like right where the post was. So, and that the cameraman. So I didn't see it as is, but I did see his body flop over. And I was like, oh shit, he actually fucking landed it. That was crazy. By the way, that Bilal Muhammad video is awesome where he's celebrating and seeing it. That was crazy. Daniel Moreno, yeah, he sent Roberts to the shadow room. That was crazy. Harley Marley 420, was much of the yelling coming from the fan side? I feel as though anyone there could yell whatever and be heard. Yes, a lot of the yelling was coming from the fan side, other than the coaches, of course. But yeah, like, you definitely know whatever you say, and if you say it at a certain level of volume, uh, they will hear it, and that volume isn't that high, which is such a trip. Like, I remember like before round 3 of Pichel and Hubbard, Pichel's like flexing and like just screaming and shit, and everybody in the crowd's getting behind him, and he's looking at us and like doing his thing, and like that was such a trip. Like, seeing the fighters acknowledge us was crazy. Like, some of them even during the walkout, right? That was sick. Like, even in Brahimai when he won, like, we were all cheering and everybody was cheering, and he was just like coming over to that side of the cage and pointing at us and all this shit. Like, that's a trip. Hammering Hog in a chat. Locky late night Locky. Zach, you might fake Dana at the tables, yeah. Appreciate you stopping by Bob's Burgers. And I can't believe it's already been 52 minutes since I've been doing the stream. This stream has flown by. I'll still stick around for a little bit, but I'm just saying that, man, again, talking about that entire experience, fucking amazing. Bob's Burgers, you might have answered this, but how did you get your tickets? Was it open for fans? You have to go to ufcvip.com, call the number on there, and yeah, it's 2,000 USD per ticket. All inclusive food, drinks, a couple other perks, but again, food, drinks, and fights. That's all you need. Meat Man, you gave Parker your energy. Yes, I did. I felt I was loudest for Parker. There were a couple other Parker fans in the stands. It seems like a lot of people had bets as well on the fights. Like, a lot of people that are sitting there seem to have bets. Um, and again, like, why would you come to Vegas and not make bets on something that you're going to go watch that you can bet on? So I think that was the popular thing to do. My guy Marcus beside me had a ton of money on the fucking fights. Like, crazy, crazy. He cashed big on Parker Porter as well. Big, big, big cash on Parker Porter for him. Harley Marley, the Apex on mushrooms would be a trip. Yeah, no. Do not do that. Do not do that. If you're going to spend $2,000, try to be as much in your right mind as possible to enjoy the experience. Definitely not shrooms, though. Hype MMA, were you allowed to buy merch or walkout gear type of stuff? No, there was no selling of anything there. Bob's Burgers, do you prefer online betting or betting in person with the sportsbooks? I like well, you know what? I think it's the rarity in which I get to do it. And by it, I mean betting in person and getting a ticket. I wanted that to be the thing when I went to Vegas this time around. I wanted to go to the sports book and place tickets and have physical tickets to take with me to the fights. Like, just something cool about that to me. I don't know what it is. But the convenience, like, if I were to do that, if I were to have to do that every week, I think I'd get sick of it. Then the convenience of the online betting is much better. One thing that they were trying to do a lot at so a lot of these sports books at these hotels, they're like, for example, Circa. There's the Circa hotel. Then there's the Circa Sportsbook and the D Sportsbook. There's the Circa Sportsbook in um, Golden Gate Hotel, I think is the other one, and then MGM. They have Bet MGM. They're at a bunch of different hotels. They're at the Bellagio. They're at the MGM Grand, obviously. Um, they're at New York as well. But they have a Bet MGM app. So at like every fucking MGM sportsbook, they have people around hounding people like you should use this instead of placing physical tickets. So I think they're really starting to push that like online betting instead. Also, something I learned this weekend was um, a sports book is not allowed to have an online presence within Nevada unless they have a brick and mortar spot at some point. That's why there's no FanDuel. That's why there's no DraftKings in Nevada, because apparently you need to have a brick and mortar shop there. So maybe DraftKings is going to make a sports book down there at some point. But yeah, every other sports book you can pretty much bet online. Harley Marley, Parker has that sleeper cardio. I felt like he had enough in the tank to even put Sherman away, man. A lot of those shots were snapping his head back over and over again. Harley Marley cash tickets, no taxes unless plus 600 or higher. No taxes at all up here in Canada. Uncle Weezy, I just purchased 2 tickets front seat. Sorry. I just purchased 2 tickets front seat to UFC Brunson Till. If you want to come balls deep, you just saw me right now. Oh, so you just bought the VIP shit. Sick. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, again, I'm probably gonna go to at least one more before the end of the year. But that Brunson Till card is fucking dope. Trust me, Wheezy. You are going to love it. Hype MMA, which performance was most impressive from in person? I know on a screen it doesn't do them justice with speed and whatnot. Which one stood out to me the most? Let's see. Let me just remind myself of the fights. Boy, Val Pantoja was very fun to watch. Saldiana Lingo was really fun to watch. I think Bahamundez's performance was most impressive, but it could have also been because it seems like Roberts was very gun shy. Sorry, I'm just getting Oh, okay. Seems as though we have a troll in here. See ya. Appreciate the heads up to my guys over there on Twitter for looking out for you, boy. All right. Shout out to my guys watching. Let's see here. Yeah, most impressive performance again. Bahamundez really stood out. His volume looked really good. Um, Again, you guys might laugh at this one, but the Parker Porter one, man, like he just kept coming forward. He was eating some of the shots from Sherman, but he just kept coming forward and kept popping his head back. It looked like they were both really gassed. It seemed like Sherman was a little bit more gassed, but yeah, Porter doing his damn thing was pretty fun to watch. Whew. Raul is saying, I think I saw you white shirt. Were you sitting next to a guy with a blue jacket on? Yes. I don't recall what the guy to my left was wearing, but the guy to my right was just wearing a black um, hat and shirt. I was wearing a white shirt. But yeah, it's if you guys watch the red corner, you can see me pretty much right behind there, third row. Bob's Burgers, can you hear the commentators? At certain times, yes, but for the most part, I didn't hear them. Again, the coaches are yelling and some of the fans are saying stuff, and yeah. I can't believe there's still trolls out here right now, but whatever, it's all good. Capone saying, "How's your time, man?" I just went over it for the last hour, dude. It was amazing. If you want to hear all about it, rewind through and listen to it. I went through pretty much the entire trip. It was fucking amazing, though. Make that money. What are your thoughts on Roosevelt Roberts now? Yeah, not who I thought he was. Definitely not who I thought he was. He's probably getting cut now too, right? Kind of sucks. Paint fight predictions. How awesome were the Royval and Pantoja scrambles? Those were sick, but a lot of the time, the scrambles that they were doing were in that kind of like blind spot area I was telling you guys about, where that cameraman was standing and that pole was standing on our left side. So a lot of it I had to look up at the screen, but the convenience of the seats were there's screens on all sides, all four sides of the apex. So if you're just looking at the fights and you can't really see what's happening because of obstructions or whatever, again, very minimal obstructions to begin with, really just that one pole where that cameraman was standing. You just look up, like you just look right back up from the fights, and there's a camera right ahead of you that's showing exactly what's going on. But yeah, that was fun. That was super fun. Robert Scheller, Sherman is such a disappointment. Again, I can't believe he was a minus 190 favorite there. Like, again, people still think Parker Porter is this dog shit fighter. Like, the guy has a heart, will, and determination that not a lot of guys can match at his level. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be a top 15 title challenger or anything like that, but he can beat these types of guys. And I still don't think he's going to get his respect. Bosberger's Ariel Hawani follows you on Twitter. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's my guy. Hawani is my dude. Funny that you know that or figure that out. Suki B, how about the volume on the impact? That Williams kick was loud on TV. Yes, that was very loud. Again, the loudest thing that I can remember hearing was one of the kicks that Hubbard landed on Vince Pichel's body. One of the harder ones for sure. Harley Marley, lock in the trolls down. You know what it is. Get to smoke that doobie with the Brian. I did not. I tried hitting him up, but I didn't want to be too intrusive or too pushy. So it's all good. Bed Peak, appreciate your luck. I messaged you on the Discord. Tell me what the PFI action I have this week. Let's go, Brendan. I haven't looked at any of that stuff yet, but I do see that you're on Bubba Jenks and Brendan is the dog. We'll see. Make that money. How much were tickets? $2,000, $2,000. Justin Sherhouse, what were your thoughts on the Guido Madsen fight? I thought Guido won, but again, by that point, I was kind of like not super intoxicated, but intoxicated to the point that you can't get me to judge that fight. That was a close fucking fight. Pretty much every round was close. You know, I know people are saying 30-27 is an egregious scorecards for Madsen, but from memory, like pretty much every round was close. I don't recall if there was a huge significant moment other than whenever Madsen would hurt Guida. I think Guida hurt him once. I don't recall. Pin fight predictions. Sherman was my most confident pick. I'm done fading Porter. Yeah, can't be fading that guy. Harley Marley, were there any nice promos at the physical sport books, like the online ones? Not that I noticed, nor did I really care, you know, in terms of like, I'm only there for a weekend. I'm not signing up to these books to bet with them long term, just whenever I come to Vegas, which I'm hoping now will be like every 2 years. Meat man, learned my lesson taking Shermer over Arlovsky. I picked him too, man. I picked Sherman over Arlovsky, but it was exactly that performance, which is why I picked Porter for this one. And again, a lot of people just kind of just think that I'm picking him to pick him. No, I'm picking him because I thought he could win that fight, and he did. Just like he did the other one with fucking Parisian. Okay, saying Dana Necklace whipped whoever offered him 3 mil to write a book. Not who you're talking about. Not sure who you're talking about. All right, I'm gonna lock this up in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Again, I really wanted to do this the night that I got back because I wanted to have this documented in a sense, right? Like I don't want to forget certain details. So whenever I do want to kind of just, you know, whatever 20, 30 years down the road, look back at this and remember what I did in Vegas for UFC Vegas 34. And it was definitely the apex experience to any experience I've ever had MMA wise thus far. Like, UFC 129 was probably the best UFC experience I've had because I was working with UFC at the time or volunteering with them. And pretty much for that entire card, got to sit on media row, supervising the media, making sure they're not taking personal pictures or anything on their devices, but just watching the fights from there. That was a surreal experience. 55,000 fans, like that was crazy. But that will probably come in number two now to this Apex experience. Like fighting like that is the way to watch it, man. Holy shit. I'm not gonna be able to get over it, man. It's gonna be tough. I'm glad I got a couple goodies. Again, shout out to Circa Sportsbook, shout out to Nicholas because again, he truly made it a legit weekend. We got not fucked up, but we had Friday night when we got together at the Circa Sportsbook. We had Howler Head, a shot of Howler Head, the biggest shot I've ever had. I didn't know if I could do it in one gulp. It took me two gulps. Shot of Howler Head, and then we had some Modelo's the rest of the evening. Even when I got to the Apex, I had a couple Modelo's and had a Howler Head with Coke, which tastes like shit, but Howler Head straight is not that bad. Um, yeah, so much fucking fun. Like I can't believe it's gone and it's come and gone already. Like I was visiting my in-laws 2 weeks ago, and I was just counting down the days to this Vegas trip. And now here I am back already fucking doing Lucky late night. Fuck, man. All right, let's see what you guys are saying, and then I'm gonna get the fuck up on out of here. Pain fight predictions. Any early reads for next weekend? Again, I haven't looked at it, but since you asked, I will take a quick glimpse. And again, the odds are absolutely all over the place. Barboza Chikadze. There's no way I can call that fight. Again, I one. I don't know who I pick. I gotta watch the Ultimate Fighter fights because I haven't been keeping up with that. But there was one guy, Andre Petrosky. That guy definitely caught my eye. I remember watching one of his fights and he looked really fucking good. And obviously, he is a minus 485 favorite. JJ Aldrich, minus 370, deservedly so against Vanessa Demopoulos. That could be, again, got to do the tape. And I really don't want to. But potential lock of the night parlay right there. JJ Aldrich, Petrosky, minus 188 ish, though. Again, I don't want to do parlays for my lock of the night play, but we'll see. Ooh, Canadian Martinez. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 160. I'm interested to see where they're going to put the over under at. The over under will probably be 2.5, considering what the fight doesn't go to decision is at. And if it's at 2.5, the under 2.5 will more than likely be the lock of the night play for this weekend. Kevin Lee minus 150. I like that. Wellington Turman minus 150 against Alvey. I think the way to play this fight would be Sam Alvey by KO rather than taking Sam Alvey plus 120 that he's currently at. Again, no props out yet, so we'll see what the Sam Alvey KO line looks like. But Turman's chin does not look good, and he should win that fight until he gets knocked out, which I think he will. Mahmoud Muradov, obvious chalk there, but I think deservedly so. Emmers and Sabatini, I really don't have a take on that fight. Jacoby seems like too big of a favorite. Should he really be minus 200 here against Darren Stewart? I don't think Darren Stewart's that bad. But Jacoby is a big motherfucker, and it seems like Darren Stewart's going up to light heavyweight. So see how that one goes. So yeah, a couple of spots I like, but the main one that I'm eyeing right now is the Canetti and Martinez fight to go under 2.5. There you go. Oh look. Love me some trolls. Again, one of you guys is eventually going to get that wrench to be a moderator in here, so that whenever I am just going off on my own shit, and hey, look, whatever troll it is, at least he's tuning in to see how much fucking fun I had this weekend. And they're just pitiful, pitiful motherfuckers that troll on people's accounts. This is what fucking real work looks like. Somebody that's actually doing what they want to fucking do. And I love it. I love it. Keep coming back, bitches. Keep coming back. Capone saying thoughts on next week's main event. Again, very close fight. Won't be picking a heavy, like, I'm almost certain I won't have a bet on that fight, but I will break it down for you guys as best as I can and give you guys a legitimate prediction. I need to run the tape though. I will say early lean is Giga Chikadze, but not by much. Harley Marley, thanks for all the content, Lock. Love to hear the epic Apex experience, low-key event of the year. Cheers to the next, Lock. Yes, sir. Appreciate you stopping by. Ben P. Glock, did you already post a recap on last night's event? I think you're getting better on your reads and it's scary. Let's go. Let's fucking go. I didn't put a recap up on Patreon yet. I'm gonna, again, today flying all day. Tomorrow I'll be well rested, ready to go, and then I'll get back onto the grind again, starting with a Patreon post for the recap and what I'm looking at for this weekend. Scott Schmidt saying, quick thoughts on Thiago Santos versus Johnny Walker. I'm on the Thiago Santos side for some reason, but also violence. Stewart beats Jacoby via wrestling. Maybe, but can he do it against a bigger man? And he's not really a wrestler. I don't know. Yep, we got the troll out of here. Don't worry, fellas. Why do you guys come out and lock? I would appreciate an answer. It's got to be Choke Hunter or the other dude. I think it's one of Parlay King's motherfuckers. He seriously believes that I have 150 plus troll accounts to dislike his videos and all that shit. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever fucking heard. Like, I have that much time on my hands. This fucking dumb motherfucker. Oh, I can't wait till I gets what's coming to him. All right. I'm gonna call it. Appreciate you guys stopping by. Appreciate you guys showing your support. Hit that like if you haven't already. We're at 18. We only had like 40 people in here, so it's all good. All right. Tomorrow, in these next couple of days, hoping by Tuesday I can do my Lockcast live if I have enough studying done. No provinces. Let's see how tomorrow goes first and foremost. All right. Peace out, guys. Love you.